Hey guys, yesterday obviously Carl talked a little bit about the college baseball and the process involved in getting to that. I think that was really helpful, and I would hope that everyone in this room is at least looking at that as an option. And like you said, there's so many schools over there, so many spots for players. No one's going to do it for you, but if you want to get it done, then it definitely can be done. All right, so everyone that's involved in this camp, trust me when I say there's a spot for you in college baseball in America, and it's a great opportunity to really get to see another part of the world, meet new friends. It's a great lifestyle. You know, a lot of the stuff you see on TV about the college parties and all that sort of stuff looks like fun. You know, a lot of that's based on true stories. So you know, it's a lot of fun when you get across there. Add on to that, you get to play baseball and come away with a scholarship, so a degree out of it. So I really encourage you guys to get involved with that. I went to college as well. I spent some time over there at Triton College in Chicago. After that, I got drafted and played professionally. But today I want to talk mostly about the ABL. Australian Baseball League, it's come back again in the last 2 years, but it was around a long time ago, the early part of the 90s. I played my first game at about 15, 16 years old with the old Melbourne Monarchs. That was back in 95. Very different, the league then compared to what it is now. The structure was still basically the same, as in each state had a team, and Melbourne actually had 2 teams. Sydney had 2 teams for a while. Brisbane had the Gold Coast in there as well. So, but Melbourne always had 2 teams going. Back then guys were probably paid a bit better than what they're paid now, but that's resulted in the league, based on not being financially stable. So now in the ABL, the guys don't get paid that much. In fact, the majority of guys actually, it costs them money to play over the course of the season. If I take myself, we got about $200 per series. That was the league average. That was on, just about everyone was on that. There's a couple other guys, the big league experience and stuff, that are on a bit more. But basically everyone was on the same, about $200 a series. You take away, skipping work on Thursday and Friday to catch the plane. Missing shifts and stuff on Saturdays you might have. Some guys get paid in club ball more than what they would in ABL, so they miss that and they don't get paid. So in the end, the majority of us are actually, paying to play the game. But it's all worth it. It's a great opportunity. It's a lot of fun. You get to play with mates from all over your state. So you get the guys that are the best players at each club. Get to represent the city of Melbourne against Brisbane, or they get to represent Perth against Adelaide and all that, and they get to play every weekend. You get to travel all over Australia. So it is a lot of fun, and it's worth it, regardless of all what we have to do to go through it. With the ABL, it's a growing league. So there's not a great deal of interest per se from the outside of the baseball community. We're trying to grow that at the moment. A lot of you guys would have heard us on doing interviews and doing on the radio and whatever we could to really get the word out there. Internet stuff, YouTube stuff, everything to really try and promote the league. And that's something you have to be prepared to do as a player. We had to do a lot of interviews sort of at, I did one at 6 in the morning, did another one I think at 11:30 at night. These are the type of commitments you have to do in order to really be a part of the league, because it's a growing league and it's an establishing league, and the more that the players can support it, the more that we hope that we can push it across. So if you do get involved in that, there's something you have to be aware of, that you really do have to make yourself available, even to the fans. If you look at, say, AFL for example, which is obviously the biggest sport in Australia, there's a big gap between the players and the fans. You really don't get to interact with them at all. We made a conscious effort, especially at Melbourne this year, to really interact with our fans and get to know them. You find even stuff like guys you've never met, sort of adding you as friends on Facebook and following you, that sort of stuff. Well, we had to encourage that and really try and develop a relationship with it, and it's turned out great. I've actually got to make some friends out of the guys that were in the stands I didn't know before, and that's the other thing you have to be prepared with. If you guys are a bit introverted or a bit shy, you really have to get out of that if you want to play at that level, because you really do have to. You're an ambassador for the sport and for the league the whole time, so you've got to do as much as you can to promote it, and just be prepared to put yourself out there. You've got to be prepared to talk in front of crowds. You've got to be prepared to talk in front of cameras and in radio interviews and all that sort of stuff, and really don't be afraid to put yourself out there, because that's what's required in order to to be part of the ABL. It's a lot of fun. You can go to interstate and the crowds, they're lugging on you a bit, especially at Adelaide. So Ben, the guys over there, they give you a hard time. But it's all pretty good fun. Melbourne were probably pretty tough on their guy, on the opposition as well. But the crowds are good. They do support you, but at the same time, they'll let you know when you mess up. And the crowds are small enough so that you can almost hear just about every comment that's yelled at you when you do something wrong. I had a couple of games where I dropped some fly balls and stuff, and had some bad ones, and you do hear it, but that's part of it. The more you move up, the more you got to deal with that sort of stuff. But it does add to it as well, because it makes it fun. It gives the game a bit of interest. You can't be afraid to make mistakes, and you put yourself out there. Eventually, you're going to be you do something wrong, in front of people, and you might get embarrassed. But you know what? You get another chance to redeem yourself. 20 minutes later, and you have another at bat. The other thing too, you get to travel. You go all over Australia with it. So we fly to Brisbane. We might spend 3 or 4 days there. You get to hang out with the guys. You sort of spend all the time either at the field or back at the hotel and going out getting something to eat. You might go and have a drink or something after the game with a few of the guys. So it's a lot of fun. You get a lot out of it. As much as you put into it, there is a real enjoyment you can get from it. You get to play on the home soil. So a lot of us that have gone and played overseas professionally, we haven't really played in front of people that we've known. But now, as I've been around the league for such a long time, I go to every state and I always know people there. And it's fun to be able to sort of play in front of them again. I got to play in Canberra this year in front of my sister. Got to play up in Brisbane. Met some guys that used to be down in Essendon, sort of 15 years ago. Played over in Adelaide. Had a guy I played against with who's from Williamstown. Come up and say hello. So you always sort of get to meet and play in front of people that you care about and get to see again, which is really good. There's a real strong rivalry between all the teams. You only have to see the fights that kind of happen, and they stem back for years. We used to have fights against Adelaide going back sort of 15 years, and that still goes on now. Even in Sydney, strong rivalry between us and them. As a Melbourne player, it seems like you are everyone's number one rival for whatever reason it is. And probably going back to the old Monarchs and Reds days, but that makes it fun as well. And the good thing about it is that everything's always just left on the field, and that's something that I think that the younger generation really need to understand, is that rivalry is great on the field, but that's where it stops. As soon as the game's over and done, we hang out with all the guys from the other team. It doesn't matter if there's been a bit of a scruff in the game beforehand. Once the game's over, you just leave it all there, and then you go at it again next time you play. And I think that's something that's really important. And it's really kind of an Australian tradition. I think that you can separate the game from life outside. And as soon as the game's over, you just shake hands and you're mates again, and you do battle again in 24 hours time when you play off again. The ABL offers a lot of opportunities for guys. Guys that have never played professional baseball get a chance to play in a professional type league. Guys from club ball that have never gone to college get a chance to play if they show themselves at the club ball level. Even guys that have played professionally already getting a second chance. Look at guys like Shane Lindsay signed a new contract out this year. Andrew Russell's probably the perfect example. He was an outfielder for a long time, real successful hitter. Got to have a bit of a throw, and the Braves signed him out of that. The list goes on and on. Steve Kent from Canberra got another go this year. The Kennelly boys getting another go. So everyone sort of gets a chance to really show off what they've got. You get to play in front of scouts all the time. For someone like myself who's in the mid-30s, and I was actually the oldest position player in the league this year, it doesn't bother me. But for guys that are sort of in their mid-20s, really offers them a second chance to fulfil their career and move on. That's a great thing about the ABL. We didn't have that just a few years back before the ABL came back into it, so that's why it's important that we support the league and keep it running, so that when you guys are sort of 10 years older, you've got a chance to not only play in it, but hopefully move on to something else out of it. People sort of wonder, how do you get into it, and how do you get involved with playing in an ABL team? It's pretty much similar for each state, and it's the same as in professional baseball. You do well at a lower level, you move up. So teams are watching what you do at your club levels. So if you have a real good month or so, you get a bunch of hits, you're going to get the attention of the ABL guys, the coaches, and they can just add you onto the roster at any time. So anyone that's a member of the State Baseball Association can then be added to their roster at any time. So it's not like there's a cut-off date or anything like that. You can just come on and off at any time. Examples probably Jared Rogers this year from Melbourne, young kid. He went to college for a little bit, didn't quite like it, came back, really tore it up for Essendon in club ball, and because of the attention that he got there, hitting so well, he was able to get called up to the Aces and made a real contribution for us down the end of the line. So the opportunities are there, but you've got to do well at the lower level, and then that's how you get up. It's no good saying, "Oh, I'm never going to get in there." They're not paying attention. Trust me, they are. We talk about it all the time. The older guys talk about it with the coaches. We'll say, "Hey, this guy's really hitting good. This guy's really throwing the ball well. We should give him a call." And next thing you know, Phil Dale or Phil Allen, Damon Shanahan, one of those blokes, is on the phone to the kid and say, "Hey, you're available to play this weekend." It can happen that quick. We did it with Cole Bedford, Liam Bedford, Aaron Sayers, all those kind of guys. And I know it's the same with each state. So no matter where you are, you're going to get watched all the time. You always got a chance to move on up into the ABL. The standard's a real good standard, right? So back when I was playing the first time around, it was limited to how good our imports were allowed to be. We were allowed to have, each team was allowed to have 4 imports, and the highest they could have played was A-ball. And I think by the end of it, they might have allowed AA guys in. Now we have guys, we've got the 10-year veterans from the major leagues playing. Jason Hirsch with us this year. The guy from Sydney, the left-hander, superstar Korean major leaguer and big leaguer in America. So now there's no limit on it. The standards varies from night to night, but on average it's about a AA standard. So it's a really good standard baseball. The Americans love coming out here and playing it compared to other winter leagues. Obviously because we're a first world country compared to Dominican or Venezuela, where it's it's much rougher right there. They don't speak English. They come out here. They know that the food's good. All the medical facilities are good. The playing conditions are good. Lifestyle's good. Everyone speaks English, so it's a real bonus for them if they can get out here. And it's a league that everyone sort of wants to get involved in now, and I'm hoping that it just keeps growing from step to step. And right now the crowds aren't great. We need to improve them. The players' payments aren't that great, but we're hoping that we can grow each year, and then maybe by the time you guys are eligible for it, or even the kids that are sorting under 12s, under 14s now, saying 6, 8, 10 years time, once they're starting to play in it, that it'll be a situation where they're starting to play in front of 10, 15, 20,000 people. They're starting to get paid, $1,000 a series, something like that, to really reimburse them and get something out of it. But it sort of all starts here, and that's why we need the support from you guys. We need you guys going to watching games, bringing your family to games, and most importantly, wanting to play in there and striving to play in there, doing the work that's required. At your trainings, at your clubs, on your own training, which is even more important. You only get to have 2 club trainings a week. That leaves 5 other days where you've got something to do. Make use of those days and really strive to sort of get to the ABL. Because once you get there, it's a lot of fun. It's not the be-all and end-all. We know it's not the best baseball in the world. Our ultimate goal is to play in the major leagues, and that should be everyone's goal. But the ABL is a nice stepping stone along the way. And even the guys now that are playing in the major leagues, Holchin, Hughes, those blokes, they're still coming back here to play in the ABL because they love it and they love the game, and they really want to see it grow in the country. And we just hope that all the rest of you guys really get involved in it the same as well. Any questions about the ABL or anything?
Is it any division you play? So if you're playing in a Div 2 club and you're playing really well, you can still get...
Yeah, it doesn't matter what division you're in. There's been a lot of talk maybe not so much since the ABL's been going on, but back in the Claxton Shield, I used to hear people say, "Oh, you can't get to the Claxton Shield because you're playing for a Division 2 club." That's not true. You have to look at our club this year. We had guys from Division 2. Geminic was a pitcher for Ormond. Who else we had? Darryl George with Werribee. They were really struggling, so they went down to Division 2. Even myself, I was with Fitzroy, struggling in Division 1 club. And there's other guys all through it that have been from Division 2 clubs. So they take notice, not so much about who you're playing against in Division 2, but how you're playing. And they'll come out and watch. They'll see you, or they'll talk to guys that they respect and have seen you play. And it doesn't matter if you're doing well in Division 2 or even in under 18s. Sort of Daniel McGrath got added onto the roster for how he pitched, not in club ball, but how he pitched in under 16s, under 18 nationals. They saw him out of that, so they were able to add a guy from a junior club, a junior situation, straight into the ABL club. So you can't really look at it as I'm playing for very Division 2 that I can't get picked up. You can, and that really has no effect on it at all. Other questions? All right. Well, thanks for that. Tomorrow we'll have Hughes come in. Hopefully, I was going to speak to him again later this afternoon. He'll give us a real good talk on what it's like being involved in the ultimate level of baseball. Something that we all strive for, something that we grow up thinking about, and that's the major league. So that'll be a real good one. We'll have another bit of lunch and we'll head on back down in about 20 minutes. Thanks.
Thanks, John.